Hello everyone, I'm Michael Po. I have been in scouting for many years, probably around 30 years. I started off from primary school all the way up to secondary. And these are all my kaki members. And slowly I develop, as I go further, I become a scouter till now. I was called upon to serve SSA headquarters until now, and it was something that bring me back to scouting, to SSA. And there is a photograph that I would like to show some of you. And this was the plug that brings me back to scouting. Alright, and it has shown in the magazines that this plug was made in the World War II by the Australian POW. Alright. And unfortunately, I could not be able to share with you this plug, but it's quite a big plug, which is the size of something like this, around this size. All right. So now it's already in headquarters. It's a significant history to SSA headquarters. Okay. Now, the rest of it, I would like to share is that we have formed up the Singapore Scout Collectors Club, right? And we form up in 2014 in March. All right, these are all the members. Okay, and we even have created the magazines for everybody who I want to start off. All these years, 30 over years, I have been collecting many kinds of badges and all that. I think you can see in my vest quite a lot of very many years, way back from the 1930s, 40s and 50s. And also I have been collecting it and doing many vests like this. Okay, probably I would like to share with you. I have made about 4 or 5 of them. All right, and this is probably one of them. See, and it's not easy to make in such a way. It takes time to do up all this, right? And the next one, probably this one, which is interesting. And all these badges and metal badges, which many years of collection, which I go around, having international events and all that. You look at all the badges, beautiful badges. All right. So for those who want to collect, you might able to, see some sample that you can make a vest and put on your vest. All the badges. You see looking high here. This is pretty interesting. Many colors, right? And then the third ones I have is the other one. Actually, all this has been given by all the international members, all with all your friendship given to them, and we exchange here and there. That's how we collect all the badges, right? And this was one of our Scout Collectors Club, the inauguration. It was 6 June 2015, right, during the SG50. It was very impressive because we have many events, because we hold, I think, 3 international Fiesta events, right? And maybe I would like to share with you some of the photos that we have. Probably you can see it. It's all here, all the people around. You look at the numbers of work that they have. I think I really salute and respect all the committees, all the hard work that they have done. Right? And the very first, I think, I'll show you the second International Friendship Fiesta. This is involved all the countries. Okay. Okay, to date, my most interesting collection is the woven badge, which I would like to share with you. These are some of the samples that takes time to build up, right? You look at number of all the district badges. Nowadays, you want to collect like this, I think it's impossible. It takes many years to collect all this, especially the very interesting one. You look at this one. During those days, 1950, here put it 1958, Jurong Park. Now no more Jurong Park. Those days, in the 50s, there's a Jurong Park where everybody goes there for camping. Jamboree camp, whatever is there, but now already no more. I think it's somewhere in Bird Park, somewhere there, right? So it's very impressive, look at it. And each individual badges have many different designs. You look at like Geylang, the form of Geylang, those days, the very first district badge, and now becomes like this. And you look at our coat of arms. The very first coat of arms, this is the design, and later on, it becomes like this, our present one. But even our present one, we have different designs. Look at that. It's so beautiful. So for those who want to collect, that's what I'm collecting. And this is some of the sample that's really interesting to collect. Alright? Okay, now I goes to some of my book collection, right? The book collection that I have, the very early stage, 1914, which is pretty interesting. I'd probably like to share with you. That's the oldest book that I have. Alright, it's called the Church Scout Prayers Book. You see the logo of our scout there, design, and somebody written there from 1915, and actually the actual book was 1914, and pretty impressive. Look at the condition, 108 years old and still in perfect condition. Okay. Now I would like to show or to share with you, some of you, with our SSA magazines. Some of these magazines now, which is very hard to come by because many of them has been destroyed or been thrown away. You imagine 1966 Singapore contingent, first Malaysian Scout Jamboree. You see the book still survive right there. And also a lot of our Scout headquarters magazines, right? You look at it, so pretty, right? During those days, in the 50s, we already have our scouting in Singapore. They created such a nice scouting magazines. See? Probably I have to show you some of that with the overseas magazines. And here, see the nice Jurong Park. Pretty nice, right? Yeah. And in the 70s, also like that, the pattern. Okay. Another Jurong Park. Now all this is pretty interesting because it tells you the history of our Singapore Scouting. Alright? See, many types of activities going on all those days. And you can see the uniform, pretty clear cut that is a khaki uniform, right? Okay, that's all very nice. And also one of the Sea Scout group, Perak Sea Scout group. Right, another one more, Jurong Park. So nice, everything in perfect condition. Right? You see even our crest, the way they... I like the way they design, compared to nowadays. Because nowadays, magazines no more coming out, maybe later part we might not know, because nowadays maybe online, mostly online. Alright? See, Singapore Scouting. So the logo in the 70s, right? Okay, this is part of my collection, right? The other way which I would like to share is some of the scarf that you can see. I have many scarf, but these are some of the scarf that I find it very interesting. Alright, you see our Singapore first scarf. I remember when I was primary school, when I first joined, I thought how come they can get this scarf? But when I joined, they just give me a uniform without a scarf. So I was thinking, how come I have no scarf? All my seniors all got scarf. So my teacher says, no, you cannot have this scarf unless you take your tenderfoot. So I said, oh dear, no tenderfoot, you cannot take this. So that's why you see, compared to now, and this is no more in our headquarters. We use this until probably in the 70s or 80s. Then we changed to the other colors, right? The other interesting one is this one. I find it very interesting because you have a lion, and then they say Boy Scout or Nippon, but Singapore one. Very interesting. Okay. And then this one is a USA from the 1976. It's so colorful. The next one, 95, the World Jamboree. I have many scarves of World Jamboree, but I find this one interesting because the way they design, right? And some of the very old ones from our neighbor country, like Johor, see? So although it's fade away, but I think now if you want to get this kind of scarf, it's pretty hard now. Like this one, although it's faded, but I still keep them because you will never get in this shape, right? See? So nice, right? All this shape, and then okay. But now present moment in the 2000 series, it becomes that compared to this type, it's more colorful now. And you look at it, so colorful. The new ones are more colorful than before. It's pretty nice, right? Okay, let's get back to another kind of a collection that I have. Is all about coins, right? Okay, these are some of the berries over the years, different design of our Singapore history badges. You look at this, the design is all different. Yeah, these are all Singapore, those days, alright? Boy Scout in the Malaya time, in the 50s. And finally, all these are all obsolete, no more using it, and becomes like that. And later on, in the 70s, during the 90s, all becomes like that. So these are the latest design, right? And also, regarding coins, right? Coins, they have many types. Our Singapore history, they have a few coins already being sponsored by some businessmen. And these are some of the coins that are being sponsored, and we celebrate the 100 years, and all these are our Singapore coins. Look at the coins, very nice, right? And those early stage of coin is from the Far East. They call it the Far East Scout Conference in 1964. I have one lot of this coin which somebody give up and I buy up. It looks so beautiful. The whole set, right? This is front and back. So a lot of people are also collecting all these too. But for me, I find it very scouty, so I keep a lot of things, right? And many leaders who have probably given up, and they call me up and says, probably want to part to me, and probably to share with all of you with the Collectors Club. Yeah. Okay, the next sections of collection which I would like to share is the first day covers, right? Especially, I prefer our Singapore history. The very first one that is a kind of a stamp that you look at it, so nice. Singapore, they probably, because of the funding, they created this kind of stamps for people to buy to raise fund. Right? It's in the 60s, but people look at the kind of condition that they have, it never fade away. You know, last time those paper, you look at it, so nice, huh? Right? Although it's not the official stamp, but it's made from our own Scout headquarters. And actually, we have our own Scouts stamps. Actually, yeah, we started out our Scout stamps, the first day cover, back in the 70s. Look at some of this, right? These are all the very first day covers that we have in our association. Okay, and this is another one. So quite beautiful. Okay. Now probably I will show you some of our overseas ones, which is I think is very interesting because why? It gives us the history of what each individual's country they have given and the years and everything in the 60s, 70s, yeah, and even the 50s. Alright? This why I collect the first day cover also because it will tells you the history of what they have, the events that they have organized. So these are all very nice first day covers. Okay. Okay. The next things that I would like to share are some of the what do you call this? The flag, right? These are also interesting flags like that from the 1905 Scout group, saying the campfire things. Johor 1974 flags. Right. These are the first ASEAN Jamboree 1993. I think held in probably in the Makiling, Philippines. It's beautiful. Right? All these are very nice, interesting. But of course, it takes time for you to develop and create and to collect all this kind of design, right? Okay, and even Singapore, our own Singapore ones. Look, and this is given by my brother Scout Goh Yi Heng. This is so nice, beautiful. 1970s camp, Singapore. Right, I would like to introduce to all of you is the old petrol flag, right? Maybe some of you might not be able to see this because these are during the British time. Yeah? These are so-called petrol flags. Right? See, each individual have different types of design in different animals, right? Dogs, horse, right? All different designs. Here, hyena. This is a fierce hyena, right? This one maybe some of you might be easy to find. Yeah, bear, right? This one, what is this? Very easy, beaver, right? This is eagle or hart. This is should be hart. Okay. And another dog here. Another one. It's hard, very hard now to find all this, right? Okay. Now, in fact, as a collector, it's best that don't be like me. Why? Because for me, I take so many years to develop this. So my advice for the person who just started off, you started off just one time. Maybe you just start with badges. And then from badges to that development, you think that you have any interest in other area, then you start to collect from there. Because it will be very confusing if you go into anything you will collect. Okay, that is one of my suggestions. Stay tuned for the next episode for Singapore Scout Collectors Club. Another about our collection, we will update again.